Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Tricked Before. This time, Maneuvers. Yes, it's a Voyager. Maneuvers. We're back on Voyager. Maneuvers. Hey, I'm going to maneuver you over to our Facebook account. Follow us there. It's All Been Tricked Before. Follow us there. Keep up with us. See what we're up to. You know, you might get a little behind, but like, where are those guys? You'll know there. You'll see us pop up in your feed. Like, follow, subscribe to us there. Like you do. Hopefully you're doing that. That's how you're here. That's how you're listening to my voice. It's all been checked before. We're on Facebook. We're up to our business over there as well. Right now, let's maneuver into our conversation about maneuvers on It's All Been Checked Before.
Welcome out to another episode of It's All Been Trekked Before. Your skeleton crew is here.
This is Steven.
Olivia James. We're here to talk about the Voyager episode, Maneuvers. First impressions.
You know, I feel like we've been on a run of, I think we talked last week about, or 2 weeks ago, about, kind of lackluster, not great Voyager, especially when we compare it with the DS9s we're going through right now. But I thought this one was fun. The return of Seska was great. Even though we talked about it a couple weeks ago, I'd forgotten. And I was like, oh, yeah, she's back. I thought there was a little bit of, it's called Maneuvers, and there's a little bit of Balance of Terror kind of talk in there. Didn't rise to that level, of course, but even with the, there were so many other things going on, actually. And just the whole Chakotay Seska thing, and I was just very entertained, and I found it very relatable, the stuff he's going through with an ex on a number of levels, and I think Seska is an interesting character. And then kind of, quadrant building, if you will, with the Kazon. I thought this is the most interesting they've been so far. So I thought that was a fun episode, a lot going on, and got a little bit from everyone. Well, maybe not everyone, but most people. Cass got an episode off, which is fine. She was there, but I feel like she's been super focused lately. But we got to visit with everybody else a little bit more. So yeah, I thought it was a fun episode. Yeah, good.
I have a lesser opinion. I didn't think it was that great. Yeah, I was excited to have Seska back. And there was some ingenuity and moral quandary of let him sacrifice himself or risk the crew. And you really have to think about, I don't know. I didn't feel they justified some of the actions they took. And I just found Chakotay and Seska's interactions more boring than anything, which is a shame because they were one-upping each other. And I feel like it should have been really good, but it wasn't gripping me. It was nice to learn more about the Kazon Society and how they're organized. Yeah. But yeah, overall, I would say it was kind of a boring episode. So we'll talk through it and see which one of us is going to sway the rankings more.
There are some things you said I definitely get where you're coming from. So
yeah. So we begin with Chakotay teasing B'Elanna. They had apparently done some they were playing hoverball, and she was winning, but he said he had her where he wanted her. It almost felt like that whole thing was just to remind us that B'Elanna is interested in Chakotay, which I think we just saw in another episode, even though they didn't actually go there. And I don't think I know they're not going to go there with them.
Okay.
But it definitely felt very much like we're setting this up for this love triangle between Torres and Chakotay and Seska, and I didn't love that.
Yeah, so. I in my mind I was like, oh yeah, these guys. Also, first of all, fashion. Are they wearing their post-game stuff, or is that what they wore when they played?
I think it's what they wore when they played.
Okay, because his looks like a sweater, and hers looks more sporty than his, whatever he's wearing. Yeah. But yeah, I thought the same thing at first, and then I was like, oh yeah, in my mind it's Chakotay and Janeway. Although, hey, Chakotay's on the rebound, right?
And that's because you've seen Prodigy. The show has not gone there with Chakotay and Janeway yet, but it will. Yeah. It will. I mean, not in any super...
Not like these guys. Yeah.
No, not in a super developed way, unfortunately, because a lot of the fans wanted it, and they gave us some teases here and there. Whenever Jerry Taylor got her hands on the script, she tried to weave that stuff in there, but yeah, the show never really goes there. And the woman that wrote the first couple of novelizations set after the series tried to go there majorly, and they were like, no, we're not going to let you keep going down this road. And it's like, come on. I don't know why they can't have a romance. I get it's a little tricky because
Right.
she's his direct boss. But that was part of the nice thing about the post series is she wasn't his captain anymore, and they
Right.
still didn't want her to
Right.
go there. So
I mean, I guess they can have a great professional relationship, sure, but yeah.
I don't know. I definitely think Prodigy got closer to
Yes.
serving that
Yeah.
than Voyager ever did. So,
Okay. Yeah.
and Prodigy still didn't get too overt
No.
down that road. But if we get the live action Star Trek Janeway that Kate Mulgrew is really pushing for, I sure hope they have the courage to go for it.
Have we ever seen a hoverball game? Did we see one in like TNG?
I think we did.
Okay.
I think we did. I can't remember for sure, but I think we did.
I don't remember if like it was. I feel like it was just a combination of a bunch of sports with people in futuristic uniforms, but I can't remember. Obviously, it didn't make an impression.
So the ships found a Federation signal. They wonder if it's a Starfleet probe. Everybody gets excited, and part of the positive is that the code is from a month after they launched, even though they ran it in their computers that it was scheduled to be a code that they were going to use. So I don't know. I guess that's that's the excuse they used for the fact that Voyager's phasers got updated to the TNG movie phasers. Is like, oh, it was the patterns were already in the replicators. They just hadn't started making them yet.
Yeah, and I thought that cold open was so short. I was like, all right, let's get to it, which is interesting because I feel like some of the recent, and again, I don't think it's unfair to compare and contrast. Like some of the recent DS9 cold opens, if you will, I feel like they've lasted like 10 minutes, and then it's like, oh, by the way, you're watching Deep Space Nine, which again, I don't think there's either one's right or wrong, but it definitely, again, they set the parameters, well, some of the parameters right away of, oh, hey, oh, hey, we might get home. Maybe they're looking for us, that kind of thing. I like that little thing going through the episode as well.
But you knew Seska was coming, right? From last week when we're like, next.
I'd forgotten, but as soon as she showed up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. We talked about this.
So if you'd forgotten, did you think it could be legit, or because I immediately of course it's a trap. I know what's coming.
I did actually because I definitely forgotten about us talking about Seska 2 weeks ago and was like, oh, I guess it could be. I mean, I knew it was gonna either way. At the end, it's gonna Gilligan's Island, and it's not gonna help them get home, but.
For a long, long time, but they are going to make contact with Starfleet.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. Because you can't go the whole 7 seasons without any contact with Starfleet.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. And I also it makes sense that they would be very like, oh, well, there's a chance. I mean, I would imagine as it goes along, again, I'm using running the Gilligan's Island thing in the ground. I'm sure as it goes along, I don't know. I would guess as it goes along, they become a little more skeptical every time something comes in. Not that they were like, oh, this is it, but they were definitely like, oh, maybe this is something.
Yeah, but also Starfleet is full of brilliant people. Mm-hmm. There's people that care about them back home that are working on trying to find them. Mm-hmm. Even if we haven't seen that. Like Paris's dad is an admiral who also was like a friend of Janeway's. Do you think he's just giving up on Janeway and Paris?
I mean, that's completely believable that they would be like, yeah, they're out there looking for them.
Yeah, I won't spoil when it happens or how it happens, but Starfleet's definitely looking for Voyager, and Voyager's definitely looking for ways to contact Starfleet. So eventually it's going to happen because they have a bunch of really smart people involved. So, of course, it's a trap.
It's a trap. I like that as soon as Seska's on, she explains, oh, by the way, I'm in the process of restoring my Cardassian physiology.
Yeah, she was still attractive as a Cardassian, but I do think she's hotter as a Bajoran. But that might be because I think Bajorans are pretty hot just in general.
I usually I love women in their Cardassian getup, but I'm with you. Yeah, I think she's Martha.
The shuttle that they had with the reinforced battle armored front that could penetrate the hull without blowing up was pretty cool. I thought their plan to steal the transport module was pretty ingenious.
Yeah, and it was weird when the first guy hops out of the shuttle that went through there, because I liked how fast that all went, and they're like, oh yeah, the hole's getting bigger. I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then it became kind of like, oh, that makes sense what they're doing. But as he hopped out, I thought they all had Oompa Loompa hair, and at first I thought, oh, are these little people? And then it was like, no, that's not what's going on. But I did like the look of both all the Kazon, or the different sects of Kazon. I mean, they all kind of had a similar look, but also some different things with as far as the hair and stuff. And I actually like that. I'm trying to think. When is it that Seska, how early on does she say, oh yeah, it was easy to find you. You're so predictable.
Yeah, I think that's pretty early on. And the other thing that they did not really talk about in this episode was Seska's role when she was on Voyager was as an engineer. So all this technical prowess that they're exhibiting in their plan and everything, it's like, yeah, of course she's an engineer. She would know how to do these things, how
Yeah.
the systems work,
Yeah.
more than just the random person
Yeah.
that, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's her second line. She says, "Yeah, I knew you'd try to stop us attracting me. You've always been so predictable. A sick bird. Sick bird."
Well, even in her first call, she several times addresses Chakotay directly in front of
Yes.
everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's just like, ugh.
It's I it, it's very, I mean, the whole episode, and they drive it home to the very end of, you know, you can go either way with this bad exes, but it's also like for the people on Voyager, his people are like, man, can't, you guys broke up, and it's like, I can't believe you dated her, and and then Seska's kind of like, I can't believe I dated you. Although Seska's kind of going both ways. Hey, maybe we can get back together. And that, for me, and not knowing where we're gonna end up with Seska, but I don't know if she actually means any of it. Doesn't mean any of it. You know, she's a chaos agent to me right
She is.
now.
She is. And she
And
will be back. I don't think it'll surprise you to know this is not her last appearance.
Yeah. And because it's like, well, does she just want any power? Did she really believe what the Maquis were doing, or she just wanted to shake up the system?
Well, no, she doesn't believe in the Maquis. She was a Cardassian agent undercover in the Maquis. Because remember, the
That's
Maquis were
right.
fighting the Cardassians.
That's right. That's right.
So yeah, she's not a real Maquis.
Yeah.
Like Tuvok, that's the thing. Did Chakotay have anybody on his crew that wasn't a spy? Tuvok was a spy.
Right.
Seska was a spy. He was a really terrible captain
That's a really good point.
of the Maquis.
And yet, it's just so much just rubbing his nose in it.
Well, it's not like they don't call her like his ex-girlfriend or any of those. It's very like Tuvok's like, since you were intimately involved with her, and it's like, and they just keep saying stuff like that just makes it like, oh, that's even worse. That's grosser.
I wrote down 3 of the lines, and then it gets worse. But so you have lousy taste in women, taunted by someone you love. It was never that good. I found all those very relatable, and I think this gets to Chakotay making oh, I'm going to take care of this. And I'm kind of with you that it felt it didn't feel noble to me. It felt like, I mean, it was a little bit of, I need to make this right, but I thought it was more about him than the ship, which I think is what Janeway kind of says. I mean, I think there's a part of it that he's like, I screwed this up. I need to fix this. But
no, it was very much the personal thing. And I felt like they're retroactively trying to add in these relationships that weren't there. Yes, we knew Chakotay had slept with Seska, but we never heard that it was a deep relationship.
Right.
And also Torres in this episode said she was my best friend. What? We saw them work together in engineering. Yeah. We saw them like get along, but we never saw them like best friend status.
So I guess this all happened before
You could say that, but if she really is his best friend as Torres becomes her boss, I think there'd be some mention of that. There'd be some indication in their interactions. But instead it was just like, no, I don't know. I think they were trying to retroactively tie Seska even further to the crew in ways that were not made clear earlier in the series. And that's part of why it felt, false to me. So I don't know.
I like those elements. I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's because I don't know what's coming, but and also maybe I was definitely relating a lot to the Chakotay, Seska, lovers, whatever, exes dealing with each other, and I guess that's a really good point that you're making, which is even in this episode we get a look at how he's kind of feeling now, but we don't know how he felt before, we don't hear like, well, I used to love her, but now I got to kill her or whatever, that kind of thing. it's just everyone's sticking it to him, I think, and especially her. Although because even and then later in the episode when she's even like, well, and she kisses him, whatever. So maybe there's obviously still some attraction from her. But I also think is she just trying to use him even more or whatever? So
I don't remember all of her appearances. I do
Yeah.
remember watching the two-parter that's coming up. That's the season 2 finale, season 3 premiere. She's heavily involved in that. Basics Part 1 and Basics Part 2. But those aren't her only other episodes. She's going to be in 3 more this season before we get to the finale. And then she's in again in season 3 after that premiere.
Okay.
And she pops back up for a season 7 episode. So like we're about halfway through her as a going concern, but even after she's gone, eventually, like in the final season, we'll revisit her one more time, which is great because you never want to forget about Seska, right? Like,
I enjoy
Martha
her.
Hackett's excellent actress.
Yeah,
it's not her fault. My problems with this episode have nothing to do with her performance as Seska. I think she's really good as Seska. Seska's the best part of this episode, really.
Yeah, I mean, she's the straw stirring the drink, and I to keep beating this drum, but I do think that like I feel like I want to see. I feel like Chakotay just gets beaten up in this episode, and I want to know from him, like, I mean, other than I did the wrong thing with Janeway, and I won't screw this up, but I kind of would again if the deal is that he's they dated and all that, like, where is he with that? Besides the fact that she left Voyager, or including that, where is he with that? Like, how did he feel about her? How does he feel about her now? Obviously, we really kind of don't know now either, other than he's not happy what she's doing to the ship. So
yeah.
But
so Seska does like this maneuver where the first sect of Kazon they meet with to try to get them in alignment to form a pact, they defy and threaten, and I love her just like, okay, let him go. And the Maj is like so dense. Maj Kala, so our friend returning Anthony D. Longest is so dense, like, well, I don't want to let him go. And she's like, no, just trust me, like, let him go. And then they beam him into space and kill them. And it's like, it really sucks that the Kazon are so patriarchal because, like, anti-women in leadership, because Seska would make such a better leader than he does.
Well,
he's way smarter.
I think the last line Heron has is "Listen to your woman, Kula." So it's like, you know what? Maybe he deserved to die.
We did get Neelix being useful in this episode that I love, where he identified like the Kazon outfit and could provide insight into their sex.
Yeah.
Ultimately ended up like being wrong on a thing or two, but also what he was wrong was because like they had never done that before. He was a good source of information for what they had done and what their patterns were. And like even just recognizing like, oh, that sash, Voyager assumes like they experiment on the transport didn't work. And he's like, no, that sash means they're enemies. They killed somebody.
I thought immediately, well, I guess the audience, I mean, did you feel like they definitely got killed from immediately the guys they beamed into space?
Oh, like, yeah, they were murdered for sure.
Yeah, I felt that right away, but it makes sense that the Voyager folks would be like, well, no, they don't know how to use a transporter or whatever. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, we knew because we already knew they were enemies of Mala, right. And also, again, it's that the Maj Kala not even understanding the strategy of, okay, we're going to beam these people into space, and then everybody else is going to fall in line. And Seska's like, yeah, no, I already called up, and he's like, but they're not going to listen. Like, yeah, they will. We just killed your other rivals. Like, come on. And we killed your strongest rivals, so the weaker rivals are going to fall into play. And it's like he's such a bad leader that it just feels so false that he gets as far as he does, even with Seska's input and advice.
I like that, speaking one more last time of Heron the Dead, he calls it the Voyager. They do a couple of things like that in this episode where they add, and it makes sense that, we're hearing it through the translator, right? Or whatever.
I assume.
They use it differently or whatever.
So Chakotay steals the shuttle, and like you said, it's very self-indulgent, as Janeway says later. And I feel like I feel like this is typical male female energy where the male's like, I've just got to solve this and go out there and be, you know, be the tough guy that solves it. And Janeway's like, no, dude, I'm in charge. We work this out other ways. We talk, we come up with a plan. We don't just macho our way through it. It's that toxic masculine energy that I
Yeah.
hate. I hate it. It's why I don't identify with the gender and don't want to be part of the gender. It's like stupid, stupid, stupid.
I think that's absolutely accurate, that that's the way everyone should feel about it. And I think I felt that, like, even giving, like, I know you're going through some stuff, but you know what? You should rely on the people you're with and be like, oh, hey, I feel bad about this, but here's what we're going to do to them, instead of taking a ship and taking off. And I wrote down, I love when the computer is like a cell phone tracker, and I've never had somebody else's info, like I can track them on my phone, but I know lots of other people do, which is, good or bad. But I love whenever they're like, hey, computer, where is so and so? Oh, they're not on board. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I did like that Janeway was really upset that he somehow did that without anybody finding out. And she tells Tuvok, you've got to like the end of the day to review
Yeah.
all of our procedures, which is an
Yeah.
appropriate address of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, even like
absolutely.
the fact that Chakotay succeeds, because he does like blow up the transporter and stuff.
Yeah.
And she basically tells him, and I don't want to skip ahead too much, but she basically tells him, like, look, what you did worked out. Doesn't mean it was the right choice. This was still the wrong choice. And don't think just because it worked out that you should do this.
Process versus results. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And especially when she's like, like, what does that do to my leadership? How do you expect the rest of the crew to fall in line when you won't even follow my orders as first officer? Like,
he doesn't
all
really
of
have
her
a good
points are
answer.
totally solid, and he didn't think through any of that.
No.
At all. And that's not a good quality for a first officer, to not have thought through those things before acting.
Well, and again, I think that's where, if we could have dug a little deeper into him and Seska's relationship, wouldn't have justified what he did, would have made it more like, okay, I understand it, still shouldn't have done it, but I understand it more. But and maybe we're just supposed to pick up on that just from stuff. But I would have liked a little more of that. And I think there's room for that in here without getting too into the Kazon sect thing, which I found kind of interesting, but kind of not like, oh, we've done this before. But I know it's also kind of, well, I don't know. I guess we'll see if it really is quadrant building or not. But I did like seeing the other Kazon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Probably more than any other episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chakotay, I guess the one thing that's to his credit is he does tell Voyager not to rescue him. Don't risk the crew. I'm probably already dead.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, he did it as a sacrifice.
Did you think that's one where I thought it was like, hey, please don't try to rescue me. Hey, oh no, don't do it. I thought it was kind of Willy Wonka. Oh no, please don't. Like,
no, I took it as sincere. I really didn't think you wanted Voyager to rescue him. I had a big problem with Torres.
I had no doubt they were going to rescue him, though.
Of course, they were going to rescue him. But I had a big problem with Torres, the way she argued to defend him and, like, don't punish him. He did this for good reasons and all that. It felt so anti what Torres is as a character. It felt very out of character for her to be as apologetic and making excuses, even as much as I know she likes and values Chakotay. And it just... And Janeway to give into it, where she's like, I absolutely get Janeway's thing, where she's like, my gut is to rescue him, but logic and thinking through it and using good judgment says I shouldn't. And Torres is like, but you got to do it. And Janeway's like, okay, we're going to do it. And it's like, no, no.
Yeah. And I guess Torres, I mean, I did like her doing that, whether, again, it's another question of, was it the right thing?
I want the Torres that takes 5 years to soften. I don't want her to suddenly soften on a dime in this episode, because she'll go back to her hard shell next week and we'll be like, what?
Well,
okay.
And again, maybe this goes back to, a point you've been making a lot on our Voyager journey, that shouldn't there be a little tension, or we're still getting to know each other kind of stuff between them?
Yes.
And I think if we were more that way, this makes more sense, because that's kind of the way I looked at it. Was not necessarily that she was standing up for her, not her guy, but her guy, quote unquote, her commander or whatever, former commander or still current commander. But so
Well, was her commander, now it's her first officer.
yeah. And so I actually liked her going to bat for him, whether that was the right thing and whether her reasoning was right.
I think I would have liked her going to bat for him if she did it in character. I felt her behavior was very out of character.
Not the way she, yeah.
The way she did it, the way she approached it did not feel authentic B'Elanna Torres to me. It felt weak. It felt groveling. It felt excuse making, and none of those things are B'Elanna Torres when I think of that character.
Yeah, and again, I don't know if that's supposed to point to. Well, I guess they've known each other.
She has feelings for him.
Yeah, is that the deal? And she is the only one being like, well, man, this sucks. And everyone else, I feel like she's the one who's like, man, and she says something, can you imagine going through this? And everyone else kind of like, can't believe you dated her. You know, and not those words, but and not in that even the manner I said it, but I feel like that's the consensus. Everyone else again is like, man, you dated her and now she's doing this to us. I mean us, which I kind of actually enjoy that aspect of it. Enjoy might be the wrong word, but appreciate.
Sure.
Do you think, maybe I'm jumping ahead too far, but we talked about Seska enjoying chaos. Do you think she was intimate with the Kazon?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maj Kola, absolutely. She's his woman in all ways. But clearly she's not loyal to him because when she's trying to that was the one scene that felt false for Seska to me. When she's trying to seduce Chakotay and then he like says something to her and she's like, oh, but I was never interested in you. I was just using you.
Yeah.
But then she immediately goes back to trying to seduce him. And it's like, but I did think it was fun that the Kazon drink she was offering him was called Enemy's Blood. And I'm like, I want to look up what's in that cocktail.
I think she
looked like a Bloody Mary.
I think in my brain when the question I asked about her being intimate with the Kazon was, oh well, she was using them, but you know what? Let's not be anti-sex. Let's be pro-sex. I mean, maybe she just obviously she likes it and good. So do I. So does she. And so even when she's doing her manipulating, she's still like, hey, I'm still down for a good time. I don't know if I actually like this line or not. I can't decide. I only like it because it made me think of somebody I was with when he asked about the mole on her belly or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I had somebody.
That was just to prove he'd been intimate with her because Maj Kala kept saying, no, you haven't. You're making this up. Or Seska kept saying that he was making it up. Maj Kala didn't look for a minute that he didn't believe Chakotay. Like, oh, yeah, he believed Chakotay.
Yeah.
It was working. It was working.
Yeah. So, at least one person I've dated had I feel like one person had what they call a naughty mole, so it made me think of that. And then there's others that have tattoos that you have to really get to know them to see. So from that aspect, I enjoyed it, but I guess he was probably just trying to get under their skin with that line. I don't know if he
absolutely. I did try to look up an Enemy's Blood cocktail recipe because I had intended to make one for the podcast tonight and I did not. But I can't. There's nothing called Enemy's Blood that I can find, but there is several called Blood of My Enemies. And it looks decent, like it's spiced rum or whiskey combined with a pomegranate or tart cherry juice lime, but then egg white. Like all these recipes have egg white in it. And I've never made a cocktail with egg white, and I have no intention of making a cocktail with egg white. So putting raw egg white does not sound appetizing to me.
No.
But some of the old cocktail recipes you look up, I've encountered this a number of times.
Yeah.
Look up an old classic cocktail and have egg white in there.
I don't know how that works.
I mean, you have to separate the yolk and then you just like mix it up.
Yeah.
You beat it until it gets frothy.
I was going to say it gets frothy.
Yeah. Still, I don't want to do it. But so I'm not making the Blood of My Enemies for our next episode. Sorry. So Torres fails in her attempt to rescue Chakotay with the fancy transporting, but Janeway decides to just capture the 4 Kazon leaders and trade them for Chakotay in the shuttle. And that totally works.
Yeah.
Because Janeway's smart. And Janeway's like, always got 6 plans because she knows what she's doing. Go Janeway.
We learn in there, and this maybe we don't learn it, but it's just reminded. The transporter can deactivate phasers. There's no limit to what a transporter can do. As we'll I bet we learn in our next week on DS9. We'll learn a little bit more about the magic or not magic of transporters, but yeah.
Transporters will do whatever you need them to do for the story.
That's right.
That's classic technology. That's been going on since the 60s. I think it was Star Trek Starfleet Academy premiered last week, and I've only watched the first episode. I haven't watched the second, but
okay.
I was reading somebody talking about the first episode, and they were like, this already checked the most common, like the box I needed for classic Trek is you had to use the deflector shield for something that we've never heard it does before. And it's like, yep, that deflector shield, man, you can do anything with that deflector shield.
Mm-hmm.
His punishment is just that he's going to be on report, and she hopes he feels bad about it, if that means anything to you. He's like, it does. I'm so sorry I disappointed you. I took him as sincere. I really did. And I'm glad it means something to him. And I understand that she's very limited hands tied on what she could do to punish him.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, I think at that point, you gotta bust him down a rank or suspend or something. Like, Tuvok's gonna be X-No now. You're gonna be demoted. Like,
mm-hmm.
I just think he got off the hook way too easily. In fact, my alternate episode is not that he gets busted down and demoted, which would have been a very reasonable thing to happen. But my alternate episode was he dies, and we're just done with it because no, I'm not joking. Well, I enjoyed Chakotay and Prodigy, and I would like more. And I'm hard pressed to remember anything. I've only seen about half the episodes of the series, but I'm hard pressed to remember any plots where I really like Chakotay coming up. Like he just never becomes a great character. I think he's much better in Prodigy than he was in Voyager. And so I'm just like, let's just get rid of him right here. If he's going to act like this, that would have been a cool parallel about how the Kazon executed people to get in line. Chakotay would have died by his own decisions that were wrong, but it would also do something about order on the ship and obeying the captain and all that when somebody goes out on a limb like that and doesn't. Can you imagine the first officer doing it? And I think that also would create some interesting story possibilities in the Maquis when their commander's gone, but it wasn't anything they can blame Janeway for. I don't know. I think it would have been a really cool thing to do if you were trying to build a serialized story with complex characters.
Sure. And, we talk all the time about, the Colleen Doctrine or whatever you want to call it. Sometimes main characters have to die because they're doing dangerous stuff. And he did a very dangerous thing here. So there is some validity to what you're saying. Mine, of course, goes a different way. Mine is that when Seska's putting the moves on him, he's like, all right, let's do this. And then everything else still happens exactly the same way. He just finds time to make it happen.
So then the surprise twist at the end, the pregnancy would have been like, oops, because you slept with me instead of I stole your DNA while you were asleep.
Yeah. I mean, that way you eliminate that part of it. I mean, I guess then it's like, well, it's complicated because, he did sleep with her. It's like, well, he's a man and she's a woman or, whatever. But yeah. And then even at the end, when she says that, I'm like, is she lying? Is that true? I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, you'll have to find out. I mean,
but
she said she stole his DNA, though, so she's not claiming he slept with her or anything.
Yeah, she made it. The way she says it sounds even more tawdry than if they'd actually had sex. Yeah, while you were asleep, I extracted some DNA from you. I took the liberty of extracting a sample of your DNA. I impregnated myself with it. It's like,
that's Seska doing like 10-dimensional chess, right? Like
she's
really got plans upon plans upon plans.
Yeah.
But when her plan fails, she's got contingencies that will still come back to haunt you. Yeah, honestly, I was kind of surprised the Cardassian Seska action figure that came out didn't come pregnant because I feel like most of the episodes we see her now are going to be pregnant Cardassian.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I was a little bit like, which is not to say for sure she's telling the truth. You don't know if she's pregnant with Chakotay's baby or she's just pregnant and she's messing with him. Who knows? But she is definitely pregnant. I will say that.
And I was just like, oh man, Chakotay, buddy. I mean, not that was his fault, but I also would have loved just a shot of the rest of the crew. Like, seriously, man, really? Come on, God, your ex-girlfriend's the worst. Just to go in line with everyone, everyone in the episode just keeps reminding him, like, you dated that terrible person or whatever you did with her. I only have a couple other notes.
Yeah, I've only got like one more too.
Janeway says maneuvers, so it's great. She got that.
Keith would be so excited.
we're earlier on. So it might be it's too early to judge overall, but maybe yeah. But Sulu versus Paris as helmsman.
Sulu.
Yeah, it's just a different and I'm limiting Sulu, I think, in my mind to just being like, Sulu's just cool, and it's George Takei's voice, which is one of the greatest voices of all time. Versus Paris, which I was like, yeah, what are we doing? Yep, I got it. And also a little bit of kind of I'm winking at you, and also, hey, let's have some fun.
Sulu's cool, and he doesn't take his job as seriously as some.
Yes.
But it's not because he's lazy or he doesn't care.
No,
like he's skilled, but
Yeah.
he's relaxed because he knows what he's doing. Paris, at times, not always, at times feels like a slacker who's too cool for school. And that's why Sulu wins, because I hate that personality, even though I like Paris overall. I really do. Because I think that cool slacker vibe is not authentic to him. It's just the facade he puts up to keep people from getting close and to seem cooler. I think we've already seen some of that, but as we get to know him more, I think it'll become more apparent that that's what it is, and we're going to see his layers. But I think we've already seen that, especially like in the alternate timeline where he's stuck by Harry in a tough situation. Like we've seen that he's a man of substance, but he doesn't exude a man of substance. And that's like, okay, I get that type of personality. I know who you are, dude.
Yeah,
just be more comfortable with yourself. Stop trying to act cool.
I think maybe he's, well, I mean, Sulu's pretty confident about, he knew what he was doing too with it.
Yeah.
And I love both of them, obviously, but it was just something, and especially since the last several episodes, that's all, Paris has been doing, which, the episodes we got more out of Sulu, and obviously in the films and everything else, and now were great, but I don't know if the casting, the guy that played Jal Surratt, I'm trying to think.
Yeah, that was John Gegenhuber. I didn't guess it because he doesn't even have a picture on IMDb, but it says he's best known for Earth 2, Star Trek Voyager, 3 episodes, but 3 different characters, I believe. Oh no, Jal Surratt, this was his second appearance as Jal Surratt. He'll come back for a 3rd episode as a different character.
Okay.
And then Rookie of the Year in Lego Dimensions.
He's been the voice actor. Captain Crunch since 2013, which I don't know if I've seen a Captain Crunch commercial since then.
Sure haven't.
He also had one Seinfeld appearance. He was in the episode The Briss. Some places have him as the doctor, some have him as a resident. And I don't know if he's a resident at the building or a resident at the hospital. I think he's a resident at the hospital, but anyway, so I think that's it. That's all I got.
My last thing is when Seska makes that final call to reveal her pregnancy, they go out on the bridge, and Janeway gives Chakotay the chance to take the call privately because it says it's for him. Yeah. And quite honestly, like, that is so gracious of her after everything he just did. She certainly does not need to do that. But I think she has the self-awareness and not self-awareness, situational awareness to realize that she was already doing those like sultry whatever in front of everybody before, that this is likely to be more, risque or whatever. But like, she does not have to give him that grace. And that is so huge. And I know why he declines it. It's not because he's thought about it and has considered it carefully. It's purely a gut reaction of, oh, I just screwed up. I'm going to just show my loyalty in every way I can. And I would have respected him more if he thought through it a little bit first. Give me that decision instead of that gut. Like, nope.
It's like, no, it's cool. No, we can do this. Yeah. Like, hey, everybody, she and I, we're through. And then it's just another kick to the crotch. She's like, by the way, you're going to be a father. Congratulations. Bye. I mean, I loved it as an ending of the episode.
It was a great ending of the episode. I just thought, it did not reflect well on Chakotay the way it was played.
It does not. I absolutely agree with you.
So, not the pregnancy thing. That's not his fault at all. Just, anyway. So,
I wrote that he wins earlier, but Chakotay does not win. He does some good things to pull things out, but he is not the winner here.
Written by Kenneth Biller, who's an executive story editor on the show. Directed by David Livingston, one of our regulars, so nothing super notable there. Let's get to the rankings.
Sure.
Who is your annoyance in Maneuvers?
I wrote down the Kazon. I guess I'd probably go with our guy Kula.
Maj Kala?
Yeah.
Let's see. I still have that up. Yes, there we go. I was looking to see how to spell it because I couldn't remember. I went with Chakotay.
That's
For
fair.
lots of reasons. He was
That
being
is
awful.
fair.
Being absolutely awful as a character in this episode. Who are you having a drink with?
Seska. She's going to leave me
figured-
for dead, but I'm going to take my chances.
I figured I would say Janeway because she had some tough decisions. And even though she did make the wrong one at one point, for the most part, she showed her wisdom and her intelligence. And after all this, I think she's going to need a friend that's not under her chain of command to just be like, can you believe the day I've had? Can you believe what I've been through, what they put me through? Like, she needs somebody to commiserate with. So I would be happy to be there for her.
And before we get to inspiring, just to back up, because you talk about Janeway's making me think about this. The thing I loved about that early sequence when we come back from the cold open, when the attack happens, I just thought that was so boom, boom, boom. Everything was just happening really fast and not, I just thought it was at a higher pace than we usually get in a scene like that. So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And not only as a storytelling, but storytelling from that perspective, but the way everyone was getting to work and stuff. Yeah, Tuvok always is, and Janeway, but yeah. So
who was your inspiring?
So I know you didn't like it, but I did like Torres standing up for Chakotay. And then she had she does a couple other things in the episode that I thought she's like, well, she was kind of helping she was handling things as well as trying to stand up for her buddy. I'm going to say buddy, since that's all we got from her.
I think we have a chance of getting some protest against this. Send them to Keith at ibdpresents.com. But I'm going to choose Seska. I'm going to choose Seska because here's the thing. Like, I don't agree with her politics and beliefs or whatever. But man, if she does not like figure out a way to make things work, even when everything goes wrong against her, even when all her plans blow up, she's got contingencies upon contingencies. And if that doesn't inspire you to have it together and be a strong, powerful woman and like put up with the stupid men that are above you who won't even accept a female leader, like all the kudos to Seska.
You're not gonna get an argument from me. I actually have.
I didn't think I'd get it from you. I'm saying.
Somebody was asking me about. Actually, this is very relatable to this episode. Somebody was asking me about, like, well, why did you date this person? Why did you like them initially? And I said, they got stuff done. It was inspiring. I really appreciated that. That was part of it. There are a lot of other aspects, but anyway, that actually came up. So it's and maybe that's part of Chakotay's attraction to Seska as well.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be attracted to her.
Right.
Trust me. That is not what I'm saying.
I think we're separate. I agree. Doesn't mean he was good in this episode, but
no. So ranking the episode, we just had Chakotay episode a couple episodes ago. So let's go against Tattoo. Better or worse than Tattoo?
Is that our last place?
No.
Oh well, I forgot. I would go above, but I like this more.
I think so too. We were unable to decide last week if we want to make a decision whether Tattoo or Twisted, because we had them like neck and neck.
Oh yeah.
I think I argued Twisted should be above, and you argued Tattoo should be above. I don't know if you feel any differently after a couple weeks. I don't. I still think Twisted should be above, but
with the passage of time, it now feels like Twisted should be above. Trying to remember what I liked about. There was some stuff I liked about Tattoo, but Twisted.
We can still try to wait and see if we get somebody back that can help us tie break.
Sure we can. And we may differ on this too. I think I like this better than Twisted.
Yes, this goes above Twisted and Tattoo. One of those are number 6 and 7. We just haven't figured it out.
Okay, all right.
Of 10.
Okay, yeah.
This will be 11 episode. Yeah. So I didn't start at the very bottom. But the reason I didn't start at the very bottom is this hasn't been a good season. So
right. I forgot where we were.
Above Twist and Tattoo is Non Sequitur, which we just released on the podcast. That's Harry Kim and the alternate Libby and everything. I think I want Non Sequitur above. As much as I love Seska, that story.
I could probably go either way. What's above Non Sequitur?
Parturition?
Okay.
I'm glad you remember what that is because I didn't. I have to look it up. Oh, that's the like weird alien and Harry and Paris are stranded and they like end up adopting the little baby. How did that end up that high? I would have put that below
That's a
non
good
sequitur. I guess I didn't want to put it below non sequitur, but
I guess maybe we didn't like Harry's episode as much as we remember.
yeah, I don't think we did like it in the moment. I
Yeah.
feel like in retrospect, I'm only remembering the parts I enjoyed about it.
Yeah,
But if you want to go above, I'm not going to feel
I
strongly.
think I would. Yeah.
Okay. What about above Partuition?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Honestly, I think for me, Maneuvers is right about in line with Partuition and non sequitur.
Yeah.
I could kind of go either way. So if you're going to go above, we're going to up it.
Okay.
Above those are the 37s. I would stop there. Well,
yeah, I think that's fair.
the 37s has like a outsized episode that's memorable. It wasn't a great episode.
Yeah.
But this is the same thing. This is an episode that people remember the name of and what it is. But this isn't a great episode. So I honestly think they're pretty comparable.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I feel like I like both.
I want to look above that is Elogium, which I did not like. That's Kes going through her.
Oh, Kes and he.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I would put this above that.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. I think you had some help outvoting me on that one.
Yeah. And then what is it? Initiation?
Yeah, we had Keith for that one. And then the top is Projections, the Barclay episode. I would not go above that. I was going to put it below 37s, but then I see Elogium, and I'm like, oh, I might go above Elogium.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really torn on where this one goes. Below Projections, I know that. Above Twisted Tattoo, I know that.
I feel like with 37s, that's where it should be. I could go either way on that one too. I don't feel strongly going above. So
okay, let's put it below 37s then, just for lack of with the caveat that we are both like, oh, these are all about the same.
There is a lot of that here.
They're all not as good as they should be, but not
I don't even think it's that we don't remember them that well. It's that we do.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but I had fun with this episode. I like.
Yeah. As I talked about it with you, I didn't hate it as much as I did before. So, anyway, we're putting this number 4 for the season so far.
Wow.
Next week, our man Bashir, when a transporter emergency turns the command crew into holosuite characters, man, giving away things right off the bat.
Yep.
Bashir's James Bond fantasy takes on a deadly reality, and they just admit right up front it's James Bond.
Yep.
Holodeck episode. Sorry, Steven.
I know.
Until then,
we'll get into that.
Until then, live long.
And don't let anyone tell you it was never that good. And prosper.
It's All Been Done presents
Who's Got the Time?